Hello and welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest Japanese collectibles straight out of Japan. Please check the description for more information, including our Facebook page and our eBay store. So rather than actually review any figures in this video, I'm actually going to show you a lot of the figurines that are available specifically in the Namek and the Freeza sagas. I think one of the biggest challenges, and something I don't think we do very well here at Figuring Out Japan, is that we need to, I think, educate customers better about what figures are actually available, because even though there are new figures still being released in Japan, a lot of the really cool stuff and a lot of the stuff that you're going to be seeing here today was released quite a few years ago. So quite a few of these figures were released in around 2005, 2008, 2009. Even the more recent ones shown here today were actually released around 2011. So there's some really cool older stuff, and to actually make nice. I mean, personally, when I collect figures based on making cool sets or scenes, rather than just going collecting them individually and saying, well, I like this character, so I'll have that character. I always try and match them together, and often to do that well, you have to actually mix different figures that were released in different series and different times and things like that. So you kind of do need a pretty good understanding of the product set and what's out there, and obviously we're happy to help with that. So today we're only going to be looking at the Freeza and Namek Saga, but if you want to create other scenes from other non-Dragonball series, or even from like the Android Saga or the Cell Saga or whatever, we're pretty friendly. Feel free to get in touch. As I said, all the details are in the description of this video. And I actually do have to the side here, just to give you an example. So that's just a little scene there from the Boo Saga, and then some Pokemon. So you can do some cool stuff. They're actually all really rare figures. But yeah, so now this is not complete. There are more Freeza Saga figures that have been released, but I'll point them out as we go through them. So I'll probably be going through these pretty quickly because there's a lot to cover. But I have or will review all of these figures individually. So I'll actually show you them really close and talk about what I like and what I don't like about them. And so if you want to see these in more detail, then check out our YouTube channel and you'll see these and a lot of other stuff. Okay, let's get into it. So I'll start with maybe the smallest one. So this is KUJI, and he's one of the first characters that we actually see in the Freeza saga, but he's part of the HSCF, or High Spec Coloring figure line. And where's his box? The box looks like this. It's quite a small one, and there are a lot of figures released in this line, and there were actually a Frieza, Zarbon, and Dodoria released as well. So they're quite small. So if you're looking for something that's small and compact and doesn't take up a lot of room, then that is a good line to have. This is a Dodoria, which is part of the Creatures line, which was really designed to show the how scary, I guess, some of the characters were. So I quite like that figure. And if I show you the box, what that looks like, I've got a lot of boxes behind me. So this is what that series looks like. And there are actually a lot of figures released. This wasn't just a Namek Saga release, but a lot of the figures in this line actually were from the Freeza saga. So there was Mecha Frieza, or Cyborg Frieza. They call him Mecha Frieza in Japan. So you could actually have him with, for example, Trunks. That's a pretty cool display to have, Trunks and Mecha Frieza. There was third form Frieza. There was first and second stage Zarbon. There was also an Azaro Vegeta if you wanted to combine him with the Saiyan Saga. There was the Namek Elder. There was Porunga. There's probably a couple of others. So there are a lot of releases from the Creatures line, which I don't actually have here today to show you, unfortunately. But yeah, that's just to remind you they're the ones that look like that in that box. Okay, next we're going to look at the HQDX, which is the high quality deluxe figures, which are all these ones that have the black round bases. And this was Banpresto's main figure line that was released around about the mid-2000s. This was not a Freeza Saga only release, but a lot of the figures actually were from the Freeza Saga. So strangely, they didn't release any from the Cell Saga. I don't know why. But you got Captain Ginyu. There's Ginyu. Oh, this is Dodoria. Quite a cute figure actually, Dodoria. Then Bardock. Bardock was actually from the movie line of this. Then you got First Form Frieza. And you got Zarbon at the back here. And then we have Second Form Frieza. So this is actually it's probably the second rarest one, the Second Form Frieza that was released, and the rarest I'd say in this line was the Third Form Frieza. Don't know why, but they are. There was also a Perfect Frieza, and two Perfect Friezas released, which one of him standing up and one of him powering up. I actually have a picture of him, so this is the one of him powering up, and he was also re-released in a metallic version, and then obviously there's Goku as well. So this is what the box of the HQ DX line looks like if you've seen those boxes. And sometimes they were released, I don't think all of them were re-released, but some of them were re-released. So you can see there's Bardock. So this was the re-release one. The original one doesn't have an open mouth. This one does. So that's the only difference with that one. So I think they re-released them because of Dragonball Kai. So yeah, so some pretty cool figures in that line. So I might get some of these out of the way. So continuing now. So this is Prince Vegeta, which was an ICHIBAN KUJI. Then you got King Vegeta, which is part of the Legend of Saiyan series. I really like this figure actually. I really like all the figures, I guess. But I've reviewed that one separately already, but this is what the box for that one looks like. So again, this one wasn't a Namek Saga only release. So that's that one. Then there is Piccolo. So this one wasn't like a Namek Saga release, but you know, Piccolo doesn't change, so that's cool. Of course, he fights second stage Frieza, so you know, you can make some cool display things there. Now his box looks like this, and actually the Super Saiyan 3 Goku that I showed you before was actually in the same line. I've reviewed these figures separately, and I'm going to show you some of the Ichiban Kujis that were released in that line in a sec, so keep that one in mind. So then there's Vegeta. So this was an Ichiban Kuji as well. I really like this figure. And this one was actually in the same series as the one behind me, which I'll talk about in a sec. And there was also a Goku forming a Spirit Bomb Kuji for that as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, we've covered all that stuff. So, okay, let's now get into the big ones. So this is a First Form Frieza. Now I'm going to review this separately and take it out of its box and everything. But you can see here it says it's part of the Namek Saga. And yeah, it's in his like little chair thingy. I don't know the name for it. You can also take it out and sit him, have him standing up. Pretty popular figure, this one. Pretty big as well. And, you know, something like that would look really cool with this henchman, right? And there's also going to be a Bardock released, Battle Damaged Bardock released in the S-Cultures line just next month, of him like firing a Ninja Ball in his last moment. So you could make some really cool displays for that one. So then, so you got that one, but if I really had to recommend getting a Frieza figure, I'd say this is the granddaddy of them all. So this is the ICHIBAN KUJI from the series, same as Piccolo. And I'm really going to try and wrap this video up pretty quick, to be honest. But the quality of this one is just amazing. You've got the energy balls, you've got all the detail. It's very hard to show now in his box, but you can actually see his muscles under those like blue parts. I'm going to show that in a different video, but just trust me, it is an amazing figure. It was released in 2011, so it's still not that expensive to get. And this was actually released with this one. So this is the Super Saiyan Goku ICHIBAN KUJI, and again I'll take it out of its box and review it in a separate video, but plenty of detail, and kind of looks like a figure arts series actually, with the energy waves and stuff, but that's a pretty cool figure as well. But even though that one goes with the Frieza, I actually probably prefer this one, even though it's not as detailed and as high quality, I guess. I just love the stance of this one, like him just yelling and parrying up. You can always hear his yells and screams, and look at his eyes, just wide open. And it actually, it's hard to show, but it actually has yellow energy waves, which kind of go well together with the pink energy waves that we saw with the Frieza. So if I was to combine two, I'd actually combine those two, but it's up to you. And then the last one I'm going to show you is a customized. This is actually customized, so it was not a Banpresto, or it wasn't an official commercial release. But there's actually been the seller's actually made quite a few of these figures, and like the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and you know, a Goku and Frieza, and all different types of ones. But obviously they're pretty expensive, and they're actually extremely heavy, so they cost a lot of money to ship as well. So we don't actually sell these on our site, but if you are interested in any of these, then get in touch with us. So that pretty much concludes the video. It's a pretty it's not complete, but it's a pretty comprehensive list of all the Freeza Saga releases. Probably the other main one not here is the Frieza's Force line, which actually had very small, probably similar size to the HSCF figures. They were quite shiny, and it had like pretty much any of the characters you could imagine from the Namek and Freeza Saga. And the main release for that one was actually Frieza's ship. So you can actually get one of Frieza's ship. And you know, if you want to get creative with these displays, you could have, you know, you could sort of combine it with the Namek Saga, the Saiyan Saga, and because you know the Saiyan Saga is kind of pretty closely linked to the Frieza Saga, so there's, you know, a couple that you could have there. There's also a Raditz, so that was actually from the HSCF line, which is the same as this one. You could have Bills and Whis, because they, of course, is shown in the movie Battle of Gods. Sorry, I'm moving the camera around a lot. You know, to be in touch with King Vegeta, so you could add them. There's God Goku as well. Or you could even have, like, you know, Broly, if you wanted. So that's a really rare figure, which I'll review separately, but it's really big as well. So there's lots of different things you could do. You could get really creative with it. But for now, that's a guide to the Frieza and the Namek Saga, and you know, if you want to make your own display, you know, of course you don't need this many figures. You know, you might just want Frieza and his henchmen, or Frieza and Goku, or whatever it may be. But anyway, for now, that's what we have here today. So thank you very much for watching, and as I said, don't forget to check our YouTube channel to see a lot of these, well, all of these figures released individually and in more detail. Thank you very much for watching.